meeting of the Jersey Shore Area School District Board of Directors to order. Can we have a roll call, please, Mr. Enders?
Here.
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 Here. Thank you. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're the old tennis balls.
Before we get too far into the meeting, could you all make sure that your mics are on? That was causing us some sound issues at the last meeting. Thank you. I think most of them were on when I could hear all of you when we were doing roll call. I just want to make sure.
Okay, next item is approval of minutes for May 10th and May 24th.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Second? Thank you, Mr. Brungard. Any discussion or corrections identified? Hearing none, all in favor of the minutes being approved, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The Treasurer's Report, we have the May 2021 Treasurer's Report and May 2021 Investment Report.
So moved.
Thank you. Any questions, corrections, additions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Approval of bills, $2,658,339.35.
So moved.
Any question on any of the bills? Okay. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Communications, Dr. Ulmer.
I have nothing for this evening.
President's report. The only thing I wanted to point out that in both of the local newspapers in the past few days, there's been a editorial from the PSBA president, who's also a board member, regarding the charter school recommendations, the charter school task force recommendations. And if you would like a copy of those, we can either send them to you electronically, or you can get on the PSBA website, and I think they're available to the public on that site. Presentations, UPMC athletic trainer.
I wanted to draw your attention to that document on the agenda. We had talked about this in the athletic budget. It was a concern that we had through the last school year when we have multiple practices happening at the same time that there are PIAA events. With only having one athletic trainer on staff, we ran into some issues last year with coverage of events. So Mrs. Henry did some investigation, looked into an agreement with UPMC. If you recall, this was presented in her budget. The money is in her already approved budget. So now that that budget is approved, she's coming to you with the contract. This would be a part-time trainer that would allow her to bring someone in on nights when there are multiple events happening at the same time, and we can have that part-time person cover an event while Our trainer is covering a different event. So that agreement is attached. It's not on here for approval tonight. It's just here for me to present it and draw it to your attention. Mr. Kenyon did look at it. It's a standard agreement with UPMC. It's what they do in multiple other districts. We just have not gone down that route before, so I wanted to give you all a chance to look at that and ask questions before we approved it. Any questions? Okay.
I just look at page 3 there, they have the pay, just an hourly position or game position paid by, or how does this pay schedule work?
Page 3.
I don't know if that's it or not, but price.
Oh. You have to go to the attachment. It says there.
Page 17 here.
Pardon me?
Page 17. It's just a
Yep.
flat fee,
It's
right?
a flat fee for the year, $17,000 for the year.
Regardless of how many hours?
Well, that hours are spelled out in, I'm pretty sure the hours are spelled out in a different part of the agreement.
Well, it says right on that same time, 20 hours per week.
So you're getting 20 hours a week for $17,000 a year.
Whether you use them or not.
We're getting 20 hours a week.
Okay, who's responsible for this person? This person that's there on another field somewhere in Dr. George is not around. Will this be responsible for him or the UPMC? He makes a misdiagnosis or something, or you see what I'm saying? He makes a judgment call somewhere.
They're a UPMC employee. They're not a district employee.
So
UPMC is going to be responsible for something.
they'd have the liability under the professional liability of the athletic center.
I had problems with the last page, attachment D. I don't remember us talking about it, and maybe we did, but I'm not sure how close this goes with or against some of the policies that we've talked about in our advertising. And it might be my own fault that this is the first time I actually saw that, but I don't remember being talked about. I'm not sure that I'm okay with all of that.
What part of it?
Last page, marketing and branding. assets.
21.
21.
Page.
So as part of that part of that standard UPMC agreement, they would get credit. They would have their logo on our athletic stuff because they're providing training. That's part of the standard agreement. We haven't asked for that to be altered.
But I don't think it stays in line with our advertising policy, but maybe it does, and I'm missing it, but and we're going to share their social media on our social media, and I just have some problems with that last page. It's the first time I actually saw that, but it might be my own fault, like I said.
Maybe the demonstration needs to look at our own advertising policy. Maybe standard, track from PMC in there, servicing multiple other cities.
Yeah, and I've seen their logo all over the district.
I mean, that's how they offset.
Not our district, all
That's
over
how they
everybody's
offset,
district.
giving us a good deal for an athletic trainers advertising their services.
I understand that. I'm not sure I'm okay with it, is what I'm saying. I understand that. I understand what they're doing. They're advertising themselves. We have also another hospital affiliated in the area.
So I will look at that and make sure that I'll look at the advertising policy and make sure that we go back to them. Anything in there that's in conflict, we'll address before the July meeting.
Did we have this part of it before, or I just totally...
It was on there before.
Okay, I just must not have read the whole way through it. So I apologize for the lateness, but I apologize.
That's okay.
Back then, the plot really hard to tell people what get.
So as being a new board member and having also heard that topic, I've had plenty of people approach me regarding banners. What was the controversy before? Because I don't know what the reasoning that we don't advertise or allow money to come in. I don't know what it was though. Uh-oh.
I rather not say. In case there was a little conflict of interest at that time.
Your small businesses in the area were upset by it too, so we'll take that for what it's worth. But we do have an advertising policy. I'm just asking us to check against it. Because some of it doesn't sound like it would be, some of it seems okay and some of it doesn't.
And I think as we contract out our services to other organizations, we're probably gonna have to look at that, at least that piece of it.
I agree with you,
Like,
but I mean, we
I think
still
you're
don't have the
correct.
right to go against
It's
it.
probably questionable, at this point. So, there's no other questions on that? I apologize, Mrs. Petrosky, I skipped over the intermediate unit report.
Well, at our last meeting, we just discussed, like, they had their health and safety plan that we approved, which are doing the same thing here, and their annual safety report. Then they also presented to the board their 21-22 comprehensive plan, and that'll be shared, that'll be out there for a 60-day preview or review period for the public. And then there was an annual leadership summary. And the executive director started to give us like a one-page like thing that for us to share with the board. So I think what I'll do is when I get that after every meeting, maybe I can give it to, scan it to you, and then you can put it in either your update
Yep.
or something that's
We can do
attached.
that.
Okay.
Or we can actually attach it right to this. We can
Okay.
attach it right to the agenda under your report.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. That's all I have.
So is the comprehensive plan out there now?
I think that it is, but I also have a copy in my car if anybody wants to look at it, and I can give it to Dr. Ulmer if anybody wants a copy.
Okay. Well, we're allowed to make copies, I'm assuming.
She put it on our report for
Okay.
for me to give, so
Okay.
I'm assuming that it
Then I
was
can
out
make
there in the
copies if
public,
anybody
yeah.
wants it.
Right. I can double check though to make sure.
Okay, courtesy of the floor.
I wasn't done yet.
Oh, you weren't done yet?
You weren't done.
I thought
Sorry.
we were going back to questions. Oh, you didn't, you added
I-
data.
I just wanted to, two things. I draw your attention to an email that I forwarded today, information coming out about the state budget. Mr. Enders and I got some numbers today from different people. We're checking them to make sure that they're all saying the same thing before we publicly say what our actual dollar amount is going to be in basic ed funding. But suffice to say, it will be more than what we anticipated. Remember, we budgeted flat, and the legislature added basic ed funding into the budget at the last minute. So you will see more money than we expected. But again, waiting for that actual dollar amount to be finalized before I share it. The other thing I wanted to make a note of in that email about the budget is the fact that the ARP ESSER funding, which I was calling CARES 3 for lack of a better term, we already had an allocation directly from the federal government. There is another allocation coming to us under ARP ESSER that is money that was given directly to PDE, and they are distributing it to school districts. So again, I have preliminary numbers, so I don't want to share them publicly, but I will as soon as I get a final amount. It's right now estimated around 200,000 for us. I will say that if you read in that email, they're giving very specific things that the money has to be used for. There are 3 very specific percentages. They're saying, here's these amounts of money have to be restricted for these things. So I did put that out. I forwarded you an email that I got today that was a preliminary update. I will share exact amounts as soon as I get those. And I will share them publicly as well as soon as I get them.
Are you talking just about the additional or the whole thing? The additional has the stronger language as to what it's been, or does that include the previous also?
The additional has stronger language because it's coming from.
That's the way I read it.
Yep,
I just wasn't
it's
sure
coming from the feds to PDE. They're putting stronger language into what it can be used for.
So this is
I'm going to draw your, oh, I don't see it. There it is. I just wanted to pull, I know this is going to be hard. Oh, let me pull it, I can make it a little bigger. It's going to be a little bit hard to see over there, but I just didn't want to throw these numbers out in the air without a visual. On the agenda tonight for approval is the health and safety plan. Part of the requirement of that health and safety plan was to get public input. So we did share it at the last meeting. It's been posted on the website. I sent a survey out that went to, via one call, it went to every family. We emailed it to every student in grades 6 through 12. It also went to every staff member as a link to take a survey. So I'm sharing with you tonight that of the survey responses, 61% of those were parents, 22% were staff, 9% were students. There were a handful of community members. There was a couple people that said they were other. I don't know what that means, but there's some others. One of the important questions that I asked was if they were confident or they were comfortable with the plan as it was written. We did talk about the plan last meeting, but again, I had to get public stakeholder input. 65% said yes, 35% said no. Now, I pulled those no's on purpose so I could share with you what reasons for the no. So there, I put as I sorted the no's, they really fell into 4 categories, and here they are. There were a handful of concerned people that we would not be wearing masks, okay, because the plan clearly says that we are not wearing masks. The second concern group was that we would be required in the fall, even though our plan says we're not wearing masks, that there's a group saying, we're concerned that the plan says we will follow orders, and what if we're ordered to wear masks again? So again, that's a group that's concerned with the language of the plan. I wrote it specifically that it says we would comply with orders, not recommendations, not guidance. It says we will comply with orders. The third group was people that basically identified their concern as, I don't want a health and safety plan, I want to go back to normal. So there is a group saying, I'm concerned with having a plan. I want it to be the way it was in 2019. And the fourth group, again, very similar to number 3, but it was, I don't think we need to have a plan for 21, 22. Just let us go back to where we were. So the no's, I wanted you to have a picture of what the no's were, and not just that 35% of the responses were no. There were reasons for that no, and I wanted to share those as well. So again, 65% of the responses were yes, we're okay with the plan. The no's kind of fell into anywhere from we're uncomfortable with it to we don't need it at all. So I just wanted to share that with you before you took your vote later in the meeting. Thank you. I'm done now. Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you know if anything passed with the, for this year that a parent had the right to hold their child back?
It has not officially been signed by the governor. My understanding is that it was passed by both houses, but it's on its way to the governor.
Well, when I read into it more, it looked like it said that you had to notify if you were going to do that by July 5th. And I'm like, well, when are they going to let? Oh, it's the 15th.
15th.
Oh, okay.
So it has not officially been signed into law. but the law, if it is signed, the deadline is July 15th, because that's what the law says. And there will be a standard form. Yeah, the law says that PDE has to create a standard form. The parents would ask for that on that standard form. But the law also says they only have until July 15th to respond.
And they'll make it on July 20th.
So I
I
will,
didn't mean that for definite.
when it becomes law, we will have to share it, but we'll have to share it with the form that we're required to use.
Okay, courtesy floor, we had no one sign up to speak on agenda items. If the board doesn't have any objection, I would just open it up to courtesy of the floor now for those that are here and want to speak now. That way you don't have to wait around here till the end of the meeting. Is there any objection to that?
I have none.
Anybody would like to have courtesy of the floor on any topic?
Hello, everybody. So, Mr. Ulmer, directed at your questionnaire, that was actually very insightful and very clear, and good on your part to actually, feel around and see what the, constituents actually want. Does that include residents that do not have family members in the school district?
You mean the survey?
Yes.
The survey was posted on our web.
Posted on, but you sent out feelers to parents, blah, 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 correct?
The parents were directly emailed, students were directly emailed, staff was directly emailed, and we posted a notice on the website with the survey link.
Yeah, so
So
somebody-
anyone could, and
yeah.
there were community members who took it.
Right. So like people like my dad who has a cell phone but will not do voicemail or text or does not get on the internet. He leaves that completely up to us. Like those people didn't see it. Correct. Is my point. So it'd be like, yeah, so there's still like that percentage which we wouldn't know that didn't see it. You would only know if you took that times the population that live in the thing. Okay, that was my only thing. So I'm only concerned about the being okayed and according to what the state requires, only because there's a committee right now that they're trying to pass legislation for children to be vaccinated in the school district without the parents' consent. I'm not for anybody not taking away any kind of parental consent at all. If that gets passed, then that would be under the thing that everybody's voting for, correct? No.
So our plan, the
So-
plan says that the only obligation the district is going to comply with is sharing vaccine information. We did that in the spring. If Geisinger sent us, here's a vaccine clinic, we distributed it, that was it.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're saying that they want children to be vaccinated coming into the school district to participate in schools, what they're trying to pass. So if they pass that, say it gets in that one committee that's the 41%, which is they get the 41% and that passes, there are parents who are going to pull their children that don't believe in the vaccine. It's your choice. It's your private information. Whatever you do, you do. When you go home, it's your closed door. You go to your doctor. That's between you and your doctor. Like my child understands that perfectly. I don't need to see anything. If there's a problem, the doctor's there for that, not mom. However, I don't see a school district having the actual, what do you call that? Like it's not their profession to make that choice. If that gets passed, this is what I mean. Like if it gets passed and becomes a law where your child has to be vaccinated to come to school, then what I'm asking is, does that mean what you vote on tonight means that children have to be vaccinated to come into the school district? No. So if the state requires it, it is a no.
board at that time have the opportunity to make a determination on the legalities of that
Right,
particular issue.
Right.
Whether they decide to comply with that particular
right. And
statutory mandate. So it would require a change to their plan, and to speculate anything more than that would be just speculation. It'd be unfair to ask the board to make that determination.
okay, no, and that's very valid. I'm just saying, like, that's a very scary thing to talk about, and it's very, and that's a very good answer. And I would hope that would be like, okay, well, this isn't something that we're just going to say, well, we voted on it and we didn't know that was going to happen, but blah blah blah.
Right. I think what you're saying too is, if that becomes an order, you're passing this saying that we're going to comply with all the orders put forth by the state. Are we going to comply with that?
That is under the masking section,
Yeah.
not under the vaccination section.
I lived in a city where I was required to have my daughter get the MMR shot because she didn't have certain viruses before she went to school, and that wasn't my choice. And for her to go to that school, I had to do it. And dumb me, I did it because I believed in the system and I believed in the vaccination. Like, why would nobody would vaccinate a child if they thought it was bad? And it ended badly. That's why I bring that up.
Mrs. Edwards is down to about 30 seconds.
I'm sure I'm over my 3 minutes. Thank you very much. I just wanted that was like my only thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just to be clear, building on her, if things change with regard to the vaccination, so the entire board, we would come together as a board again, so the public hears and make that determination. This has nothing to do with that.
The only thing that,
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
What I would say is I'm not aware of anything in the plan that would require us to force play command vaccination. So that'll definitely come before the board for consideration. As your solicitor, that would be a conversation that we have before we ever employ such an event. And number two, the order section is only relative to masking, not vaccination. Two different issues that will be used. So please don't jump to conclusions based on the simple statement that we're going to be complying with orders from the state. Hopefully that clarifies.
mhm.
And if that's, a valid point that the legislature's trying to do that, then we need to be talking to our legislatures right now before any action takes place.
Well, and I agree, that's probably has been some of the conversation with
Yeah.
some of them, but, WHO has come out and said, do not vaccinate younger children.
Right.
CDC hasn't caught up with them yet, but I can't imagine that's not the next step, but who knows?
Well, and I've heard this conversation regionally, and just as a reminder, as of now, you can't even get a vaccine for someone under 12.
Oh.
So the idea that there is a requirement coming, they're not even giving them to anyone under 12. So keep that in mind.
And I think also we need to remember they're just for emergency use only. They haven't been fully FDA approved. So there are guidelines for what can be provided to minors anyway that aren't fully FDA approved, that we'd be able to oppose that. Okay, we'll move on to personnel then. We have personnel A through L.
So moved.
Mrs. Grant,
Yeah, I don't think my mic
thank you.
Is it my phone?
Any
hear
questions
me?
or discussion? Any questions or discussion on personnel agenda A through L? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Finance, item H, A through G.
So moved.
Good second. Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Any questions on A through G?
Regarding the audit engagement letter, you know roughly the percentage increase as far as the proposed cost?
Dollar increase, so I think I equated it to like 2%.
Any other questions on finance? Hearing no other questions, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Miscellaneous, we have A through G.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Thomas. Do we have a second? Thank you, Mr. Brungard. Any questions, comments, or concerns on miscellaneous A through G?
That, as we talked about in the last meeting, that is the recommended resolution from PDE for 21-22 in the event that we would be told we have to close because of a spike in cases. If we don't have this resolution, they're calling it, in place, like we did last year, if this is in place, we can count remote days as school days. If you don't resolve that we're in the middle of a pandemic, you would have to have an emergency meeting to pass this resolution in order for those days to count, essentially.
Thank you.
It's a fail-safe.
So it is something we had in place this year. This is just renewing it for
Yep.
the next school year.
They are only good for 1 year.
Any other questions, A through G? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Any old business? Last chance for courtesy of the floor if anybody else had second thoughts. Okay, hearing none, board at this time will move into executive session for personnel, legal, and security concerns, and there'll be no further business conducted when we come out of that.
Short meeting that
For the world record.
Really good. I have 4 monitors at home. Like, my mom. Yeah.
I just want to point out, number 7, she was the one that it wasn't working. So you may want to check batteries.